So Liverpool's owners, the Fenway Sports Group, are ready to listen to offers for the club they bought for just £300 million in 2010. If they get what Liverpool are valued at right now, around £4 billion, it would mean that would more than 10 times more than they paid for the club just 12 years ago. So they do stand to make a massive profit on what's happened at Liverpool. And it has to be said that during their time as owners, they have transformed the club from a team that was constantly underperforming to one that is now back amongst the very biggest teams in Europe in the Premier League. They ended their 30-year wait for a title in 2020. They've won the Champions League under FSG. So it has been a successful 12 years under their ownership. But I've been told that the situation with the collapse of the Super League in 2021, when Liverpool were one of the main clubs trying to drive a breakaway league, which would have basically cut off relegation and ensured the biggest clubs in Europe would have been a closed shop, bringing in more money, extending their ability to earn cash. So that collapse, and obviously the sale of Chelsea this summer to Clearlake Capital, that is another reason why Liverpool are now testing the water to see if there is significant interest in buying the club. So Chelsea's sale was ultimately £4.25 billion, but the actual proceeds towards Roman Abramovich, which were frozen by the UK government, the actual cost of Chelsea was £2.5 billion. The rest, £1.25 billion, was made up, £1.75 billion was made up by commitments from Todd Bowley and Clearlake Capital to invest in the club. So Chelsea's value was £2.5 billion. Liverpool are a much bigger club than Chelsea, bigger historical club, bigger fan base globally, bigger commercial value, so they will attract lots of interest at that sort of figure. Ultimately, FSG might not sell. This is a testing the water situation to see what interest is out there for Liverpool. They are also seeking investment. They put out a statement saying that they remain committed to the club, and they have looked at in the past outside investment and not taken it, but they are open to outside investment. So while this is probably not a cold cut Liverpool are for sale, it's a situation where Liverpool could be sold if the right offer comes along. They could attract new investment if the right offer comes along. But it's all about being able to make Liverpool competitive, even more competitive, with teams like Man City, with PSG, the clubs that are owned by, Middle Eastern sovereign wealth funds. Jurgen Klopp made the point recently that the reason why they can't compete with these clubs, the Newcastles, the Cities, the PSGs, is because they are owned by sovereign wealth funds that have got wealth rooted in oil and gas, and it's a fact of life that these clubs are able to do things that other clubs can't. Now, Liverpool have done a great job in competing with City in recent years, but they're having to rebuild the Anfield Road stand right now. That's going to cost £120 million, having to rebuild the team. Finding the funds to do that at the same time as competing with clubs like City is proving impossible. So FSG, they are willing to seek investment to make them more powerful on the pitch, but also, like any club, any top club is for sale if the right offer comes along. So if the right offer comes along for Liverpool, FSG would sell. Having paid just £300 million for it in 2010, they are going to make a huge profit. But even if that is the case, it can't be denied that they have transformed the club in that time. Anfield is a much better stadium right now. They've got a fantastic team, great players, Mo Salah, fantastic manager in Jurgen Klopp. So it has been a successful decade. But everything comes to an end, and Liverpool do find new owners. It'll be interesting to see if they can carry on what FSG have done. But right now, they are seeking offers. It doesn't mean they will sell the club, but it shows that with Super League collapsing and with Chelsea being sold for a significant sum this summer, a lot of club owners are now seeing what the market is like, because the collapse of Super League means that the potential earnings of clubs are not as big as they could have been. So maybe it's not the time to sell. And if that happens at Liverpool, keep an eye on Manchester United, because again, the Glazers, in it for the business, in it for the money. If they see Liverpool being sold for a significant fee, it could have implications for them too.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.